Hey babes, happy Pride and all that. Our schedules are so messed up right now, we kind of totally failed to make a real Pride episode. But since next time Pitney will be off dealing with family drama, I'm gonna see if my husband and I can manage something gay as hell for y'all. Maybe. So, this episode, we recorded this before Los Angeles got fucking invaded by trigger-happy fascists, so you can look at this as a respite from the news. Although, it's not always sunshine and unicorn farts. I have a lot of choice words to say about the season finale of Doctor Who. And even if you don't watch Doctor Who, if you enjoy it when I'm loud and sweary, today's your lucky day. In the meantime, stay hydrated, take your meds, check for lumps and whatnot. We love you! Welcome to Pitney and Amelia's Bitchin' Boutique!
We may be awful, but we're right. I was so excited about the reading because it had been a long time since I had done a card reading for anything that wasn't like ultra personal.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, I think the fact that we had done the grounding and the centering.
And that we were doing it together, I think.
Yeah.
Made it.
And that I had asked, you know, for guidance and, you know, blah, blah, blah. It was amazingly awesome, and hopefully, I hope it was accurate because it was hopeful. why
I think it turned out accurate, or the reason why every day that follows, you know, since we did it, I am seeing more and more people. I think I sent you a link to a YouTube video where Stacey Abrams and Rachel Maddow were talking. And I swear to God, I mean, obviously they weren't saying it the way we were saying it. Yeah. Like, well, you know, the Page of Swords and blah, blah, you know, they weren't saying that. But it's like they were really talking about things getting to like a tipping point where it's the best time to go in and bring in more people. And it was so interesting. And I'm seeing more and more social media posts by big, you know, influencers or content creators or whatever you want to call them. I guess we're among them. We just have a considerably smaller audience than a lot of people. But our audience is better. But
yeah, because people haven't discovered how fabulous we are yet.
No.
But they will.
And by the way, if you're listening to this right now and you have no idea what we're talking about, maybe it's because you have subscribed to the show on whatever podcast platform you use, and maybe you either didn't hear the last episode, or you heard it but you didn't follow my instructions to, hey, you should go to the YouTube channel. And because we put up not only a video version of that episode where we were cooking in my kitchen, but we also did, in lieu of a Coven meeting, we did this little tarot reading, and it was amazing. Like, I wasn't sure what was going to happen. I wasn't sure how it was going to turn out. But it ended up, like, once we went through the sequence of cards and everything, and we kind of bounced ideas back and forth, it came up with some pretty solid shit, you know?
Yeah, and it was really interesting to me, like, you pointed this out, and I hadn't even really noticed it until you pointed it out. There were no cups.
No cups at all.
It was just plain on, this is what the fuck it is.
Right. Because cups is more...
And it was really...
emotion, like lovey-dovey emotion-y things.
It was really, really interesting. And I was really... happy and heartened by it. And
right.
I just hope that my predictions, for lack of a better word, based on the cards, I really do hope that it was accurate and that happens.
And it feels to me, definitely felt to me with the kinds of cards that we were getting. And and since you brought up the cups thing, I'm realizing now that it's that could be related to it, because we were we were sort of given the suggestion to find middle ground, to find common ground with the people we've been fighting with all this time. And because there's no fucking cups, and that means no lovey-dovey relationship stuff, it's not telling us to make friends. It's telling us to chill just enough to make people realize that we have a common enemy.
Yeah, and I think there is going to be, if it comes to fruition, I think that we're common ground is going to be found. And it's interesting because I was watching something earlier today. I think it was David Pakman, but it could have been Midas. I don't know. I watch it every morning. I watch both of those every morning, so I get them confused. But they were talking about how, like, Republican constituents are going to these town halls.
Yeah, 100. Yeah,
and they are booing the fuck out of their Congress people.
And those Congress people are assuming that those are not Republicans. They're assuming they're us or they're plants. And it's like, no, you guys really pissed off your own people.
Fucking voters, yeah. And
that's why they're that mad, because they expected better from you.
Yeah, and I was like, wow, that's really cool. That is exactly what the reading was talking about.
Yeah.
As there is going to be a coming together of us.
Right.
I'm saying us, collective, American society, us, to fight this fascist regime.
Right. And you're not on social media. And it ain't
going to be about social things. It ain't going to be about gay, trans, blah,
blah, so
blah.
Like,
it's going to be about real world.
It's about about the we all need Medicare to be out there. We all need Medicaid to be out there. Whether we're using it or not, we need it, and we need to make sure that we get that shit back. But what I was going to say is that you're not on social media. So you haven't been seeing, like, post after post after post that, like, whether they considered themselves MAGA, but they at the very least voted for Trump multiple times. You know, there are a lot of people who voted for him all 3 times, and they are just now realizing, oh, he's a lying piece of shit. Like, it didn't, because it had to affect them personally.
Like, oh my God, I was wrong all along.
It's like, it had to affect them personally, because they don't ever talk to anybody who isn't just like them. And now that they and their people are hurting, and that whole, like, oh, he's hurting the wrong people. You know, like, they're like the people who are like, well, I was all for mass deportations, but this guy is nice, and he's good to my children, and blah, blah, blah. I didn't mean him. It's like, no, you did mean him. We've been trying to... But anyway. But, so, if you don't know what we're talking about, go listen to the reading, and go watch the other YouTube video, too. There's, like, 2 that have similar thumbnails, but one of them says special presentation, and that's the video of the audio episode. It just sounds weird.
Yeah, and it was really weird, and I realized after the fact, when I was reading, was it the 8 of Swords, I guess?
I'm trying to remember the positions of the cards.
I think the 8 of Swords. Anyway, I was reading that card, the traditional meaning of that card, totally wrong. I had it in my mind as being the 7 and not the 8. But I realized that, oh fuck, I totally read that card wrong.
Is
And
Eight
I
of
was
Swords
totally
because I
saying this and that and the other, totally the wrong card.
because I often need to. There was a few times during the reading, and if y'all watch me, you'll see that I have a little tiny book in my hand that occasionally I will flip open and double check the meaning of something. And am I right that Eight of Swords is the one about either accepting change or being wary of change?
Yeah, and it was just like big change, big conflict, big changes happening. But I was reading it as like the 7, where I was like, remember I was talking about, oh, it's a battle, but it's an equal battle. And I was totally reading the wrong card, but it also did seem to work fine.
Right.
So yeah, I apologize for that, because
Okay.
I've been doing this for 40 years, but I'm not perfect, and sometimes I make mistakes, and I made a mistake, but I still read it as I saw it, and I think it was fine.
He doesn't use the reference books anymore like I still do. Yeah. And I sort of, because I had to look it up in the book, I did sort of correct it in real time as we were going over it, because I was like, what he's saying is very interesting, but that's not what my book is saying.
I know, because I read the wrong card.
Right. But that's okay. And it still came out the same because of where it was positioned.
52 cards? I ain't gonna remember that every goddamn time, you know what I mean?
Right, but it all isn't hinging on one card. It's hinging on all the cards that we put down and which one is in what position and whatever. Anyway, it was a tarot reading. And if you've never seen a real tarot reading before, like if you've only ever seen them in movies, which means someone turns over the death card and everyone goes,
oh my god, that
which
pisses
is bullshit.
Me off.
But we've talked about that a million times. But if you've never seen a real reading, and it's also like in the course of this situation, you had two people reading together who see tarot readings in a different way.
Yeah.
Like, and a long time ago we did a tarot episode where we talked about the deck and all the different, major arcana and the different suits and whatever. And during that episode, we sort of revealed to each other that, we totally see this very, very different. Like, we both see a lot of value in it, but we don't approach it the same way. Because my side of it is a very secular side, and I see it as the cards are forcing me to look at things in a particular way. Yeah. Not that the cards are, but it'll do that for any cards that I put down. But these are the cards that came, because I just see the cards as a way to force me to see something, but that there isn't an entity trying to force me to see something. By using the cards.
I see it as a very religious way.
And I don't at all. And yet, we did the same reading. But anyway.
Yeah. But
so,
I
everyone
really
go watch
do
it.
feel like Goddess is speaking to me through this reading.
Yeah.
But that's me.
Right. And it's definitely not me.
And the information is the same. So exactly. That's really, really interesting.
Exactly. So if you've ever been interested in, like, curious about tarot cards, maybe that would be a good place to start, is watch us do our reading and see what, keep that in mind, that we have two people coming from different sides, but we're reading the same thing. Anyway.
Welcome to Brew Crime, a true crime and beer podcast. Join me, Mike.
And me, JT.
As we explore the world of crime, conspiracies, or whatever catches our attention. This is a podcast where we pick a theme, cover a few cases, and pair them with a brew.
Between themes, we do what we call Brew Crime News. A funny look at current news stories, be it crime, animals, sports, or even celebrities.
You can find us on all social media at Brew Crime. Our website is brewcrime.com. And you can find us on any podcast app at Brew Crime Podcast.
Join us as we discuss the horrible crimes that surround us and maybe Definitely. Tip a bottle or two back as you do it. Drink with us weekly.
Okay, are we moving on?
Yes.
So, oh my god, I saw this thing. Was it a video? It was a video. Someone just sort of talking about sort of, pet peeve kind of things or whatever. And it got me thinking, like a lot of things, you can divide the world into two categories: the people who do this or the people who do that. And what I wrote down, I'll just read what I wrote down, and that will hopefully kick off a discussion, because I'm very interested in this idea. Shopping carts. Do you take them back or no? And if no, why do you suck?
Okay.
So, I mean, I know that if I'm leaving a store with a cart, I will always put the cart at the very least in the corral. And I often park close to the cart corral thing.
Yeah.
Not just so it's easier to put it back, but so I have an open space next to me so I can fucking see. But maybe this affects you differently because you work in a store that has carts in a parking lot.
I was gonna say, like, as a Target team member, I definitely have opinions on it.
See, like Mervyn's, I don't think Mervyn's had carts. I don't remember us having carts at Mervyn's. That's the only big store I ever worked for in the day. But, like, there's people who, like, it seems like their whole job is going out to the parking lot and collecting up carts. And when you're in the middle of fucking Texas and the heat index is like 106, you really need to make that job easier on people. Oh my god.
Oh yeah, because they'll fucking know. Yeah.
Yeah. But, like, there are so many people who absolutely think they shouldn't be expected to return the cart in any way. Like, you put the stuff in your car, you walk away from that cart, and you get in your car and leave. And you just leave the fucking cart there. And there's people who have come up with elaborate excuses. They would think they're reasons. I think they're excuses to be an asshole. But, like, there's a woman I saw who, and of course, whenever you see something like this online, you start seeing more of it because of the all-knowing algorithm.
Yeah.
But, like a woman who has a little kid that's in the little seat part of the cart. And she's like, so, I put my kid in the car seat, and then I unload all the stuff we bought. And then you think I'm going to walk away from my car with the kid in it to put this cart somewhere? And it's like, it was your idea to get the kid out of the cart first. You could leave the fucking kid there.
That should be automatic penance for the horribleness of bringing their goddamn child into the store to begin with.
If you're gonna have your kid in the little thing, and your kid,
because I guarantee you, your fucking child is gonna scream or loud or be obnoxious, and nobody under the age of 10 has any business being in a public store.
If they, they need to. You gotta give them Benadryl or something so they can be asleep.
Like, kids can just eat fucking shit. Because I fucking hate children in public. And I've always hated it, and I hate it more now that I've worked for Target for 6 years.
It was a Target that Felianelle and I were in, where, but we went to Target to get something in particular. And we were, like, starting at one end of the store because there's certain things I always want to check when I'm in there. So we don't necessarily go up and down every aisle, but we do eventually make a circle around the whole store. And when we walked in, we could hear a kid screaming in the distance.
Oh.
And like 20 minutes later, that kid was still screaming. And we were moving, and the kid was moving. Like, they started, let's say, at the other end of the store, but kind of at the same, like, to the left, like where we were. And then we moved forward, and they moved to the right. And then we went around the corner, and they were suddenly behind us. And it was like, what? How is this person not gone, you know what? I am checking out. I am paying for my shit, and I'm getting the hell out of here right now because my kid won't stop screaming.
Oh,
and I get that I am not a parent, but if I was a babysitter, I would not be subjecting people to my kids screaming. And like, but back to the cart thing.
You and me.
If your kid, all you have to do is leave your fucking kid in the car, in the seat in the cart. You unload your shit. You take the kid and the cart. Let's go for a little ride, and we go over there and put the cart away. Now you pick up your kid and you take it to the damn car. It's your fault for making it more complicated than it needed to be, and to give yourself the excuse that you want me to walk away from my child. I just want you to put your fucking cart back. That's all I ever ask. And there's also women who think that childless people should not be allowed to park next to the cart corral. Like I have done whenever I can, because I have to deal with my kid. I have to, the whole world has to bend to your personal convenience because you decided to breed. It's like, what about the fact that
girl, I know.
In Texas, every other car is a giant Ford pickup truck, and you can't, me and my little Kia, thank God for the backup alarm where it senses movement, but God damn it, I cannot see when I'm backing. I have to back out 5 or 6 feet before I can see anything if I'm between two fucking trucks. So, I'm going to park next to the thing because I'm going to return my cart too. It's like, women with children do not run the goddamn world. We do not have to cater to you all the time.
Oh, I know,
Fuck
but
it.
people are assholes.
Well, in general, yes. And it all comes back to, no. Because we're right.
And, and if we are, we're still not.
Yeah. Because just because we're being awful for a second doesn't mean we're not right.
Yeah, because if we're assholes, we're still not assholes because we're right.
Welcome to the Skeptical Chaps with myself, Spike, and my esteemed co-hosts, Dr. Dan and Ollie.
Hello. Hello.
Every episode we're on to know about anything from news, social media, politics, current affairs, absolutely anything that annoys or delights us. And if you're underage or easily offended, you probably should not be listening. But Dr. Dan wants you to listen anyway.
Give it a go.
Thank you.
We've been contacted by the Bitchin' Boutique.
Oh, hello.
Hello, Bitchin' Boutique. They have a little jingle that they play for us, apparently.
Yes, yes.
I think they're saying it's a bit out of date now. And they said, could we send them a new one? Can we make them a new one? And I'm thinking, we're far too lazy and disorganised to do that. So if you want to take a clip from this, right now what I'm saying, and play that in your podcast, Bitchin' Boutique, we'd be fine with that.
I support this message.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, thank you for listening to the Bitchin' Boutique podcast, whatever the hell that's about. I don't know what they're talking about in this episode, but I'm sure I agree with it. And, listen to us as well.
Yes,
we're the Skeptical Chaps.
We're the 3 Skeptical
Yeah.
Chaps, but there's only 2 of us.
And if you don't...
2 Skeptical Chaps, but there's 3 of us.
How
Yeah,
very dare
that's
you.
Is the Bitchin' Boutique still bitching?
Diplomatic community.
So let's go back to your visit to
Okay.
your little visit to my house.
Yes.
Which we sort of explained in the last episode as being normally the time that, I would have been at Frightmare and Pitney was going to be at our house and dog sitting, but it just turned out into like a normal vacation. So we watched a lot of stuff and ate a lot of food and had a good time.
It was fabulous. I loved it. Yeah, I had a really good time.
Yeah. And we sent him home with all kinds of DVDs we burnt because we have one of those, Phil and I, one of our great possessions is one of those machines that takes a VHS tape and burns a DVD. And we converted a bunch of very, very valuable VHS tapes from back in the day. And oh my God, maybe some clips from them could end up, on our YouTube channel.
You never know.
We might have to do a live stream and let y'all see the glory that is the old backyard drag shows that we used to do.
Yeah. And just let me say on record, again, thank you for your hospitality and thank you for everything because I appreciated
Oh my God.
it.
It was a blast. It was an absolute blast. It was so fun.
It was fabulous. And oh God, I did not realize how much I needed
the vacation.
Like a week where I was just not dealing with any fucking thing at all. I was just like, I'm eating, I'm playing with the dog, we're watching videos, and then I'm going to go take a nap.
Right. Yeah.
And that was my life at your house for a week.
For a week. Exactly.
And I really fucking needed that.
God, it went by fast.
I did not understand how much I needed it.
And it went by so goddamn fast.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I still can't believe it's over. We've been planning it for so long and it's done.
I know.
Oh my God.
But I was like so fucking wound up.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I was there, it was just like, oh. And I was just constantly going to the refrigerator and snacking and playing with the dog. And I was like, I'm going to go take a nap now. I'll see you in a little while. Oh, how fucking wonderful was that?
And Loki went into an instant depression as soon as Pitney left the house. He was so cute. He was like, where'd my buddy go? Where's my best friend? Because, oh my God, were they instant besties?
Oh, yeah. I fell in love with that dog.
He's pretty great. It's utterly astonishing that people aren't lined up to adopt him.
I was on the ground giving him Billy. And that's a lot for me because
we're old and it's hard to get up.
I'm an old arthritic fart. It is hard for me to get on the ground. Mm-hmm. But I was fucking on the ground for that dog. Right. Oh, I loved him. I think my favorite thing of the whole time, though, was it was 4:14 a.m.
Okay.
The night before I went home, where we had the big thunderstorm coming.
Oh, yeah.
And it was 4:14 a.m. And he comes in because he was frightened by the thunder. And I was so excited that he came upstairs to find me.
And he opened your door because some of these doors don't really stay closed very well, and he knows which doors he can open.
And he found me to give him comfort, and that made me so happy.
Yes.
I would have taken him home if I could, but
I know.
I am no more capable of taking care of a very active,
very large dog
than you are, because that takes a lot of land and a lot of youthful energy that I don't have.
Yeah. But there's so many people who have exactly what he needs, and it's just like, my God, man. Somebody come and love this dog. But I
fell in love.
Yeah. I know, because he's an angel. My little Loquisha Marie is just the sweetest little boy. Big giant boy. But I wanted to tell you that last night I got to watch the season finale, the part 2 of the season finale of Doctor Who, and because you and I watched the part 1, and but we Pitney doesn't have Disney app, so he hadn't really seen much of Ncuti Gatwa's period as the Doctor, and I was like, well, there's certain episodes that you absolutely have to watch, like, my God.
I fucking love him.
He's so instantly, just everyone falls madly in love with him. He is the Loki of humans.
Yeah, I fucking love him. Oh, yeah.
He's so beautiful and so just open, and whether he's getting angry and scary, or whether he's upset and crying, or whether he's just smiling at everything, or whether he's falling in love with a bounty hunter.
I know, how fabulous, right?
In Regency dress. Whew. God, I love Regency dress.
I know.
Man looks so good in Regency dress. But, I wanted to tell you about how that episode ends, but I can't because it's so goddamn confusing. But, so the first, this is going to be my experience of trying to watch that goddamn season finale.
Yeah, because, we watched part 1 together.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I remember telling you, I don't know what the fuck is going on.
Yeah.
And
I really didn't either.
It's so weird. I have no idea what the fuck.
Yeah.
I understood Varani was back. I understood.
Oh, them talking about Omega? Well, Omega as they're calling him now.
Maybe I understood, the manufactured fantasy society, but I still never really understood that. I didn't understand any of it.
Yeah.
And I just flat out did not like it because I just did not fucking understand any of it.
There were elements of it that were amazing, like the idea of an ideal world being very mid-century decor and everyone dressed cute and everything being beautiful and yellow and turquoise, and it was
I'm all about that.
That's fabulous. That's amazing that that's where they went when they were trying to depict a utopian world of everything being nice and perfect.
My vision of utopia would be 1950s America, 1950s middle class America, but have it all be gay.
Right. To just take to take the look of that, but have it and actually have there be actual equality and diversity and everything, but everybody gets a really cute little 50s house.
Yeah, so that is makes totally really not cute. But yeah.
And everybody knows how to make a really good molded salad.
Yeah, but this, I did not understand what the fuck was going on. So tell me when you watched episode 2. So tell me, because oh my God, I can't even imagine.
Oh God. So yeah. Well, first I want to say that I didn't, because it's on an app, I guess, I don't know exactly the second it gets dropped. I don't know if it's midnight wherever you live. It's available. I don't know how it works because it happens in the middle of the fucking night, and that ain't when I'm gonna watch it. But the people who, let's say, have YouTube channels where they react to watching a show and then have to do a review of it, they have to get started early, so obviously they get up at midnight or whatever to watch it. But generally, there's an understanding among those kind of accounts that, they want you to know, this new thing that's in your feed is them reviewing the season finale of Doctor Who, and and there'll be like images to draw your eye, but it's generic enough that it doesn't spoil anything. Anyone who has seen it, when you hear this, I won't reveal until the end of what I'm talking about what I saw, but I will say I watched the show, let's say, a day and a half, because it was the evening after dinner on Sunday, and it dropped, let's say, midnight, 12:01 a.m. on Saturday. So we'll call it a day and a half.
Yeah.
But that morning, though, the Sunday morning, when I do my normal, like, I'm going to go to my YouTube feed to see if there's something I can hit play on, like, while I'm brushing my teeth and, doing my hair or whatever. And the first thing I fucking see is thumbnails on YouTube videos that, well, a lot of them just sort of spoiled a certain idea about someone being gone, like a farewell to someone. I'll just say that for now. The other one, though, there was one that made me so mad, but I waited until I watched the episode so I would know exactly what I was mad about. I was like, I just feel like something huge was just spoiled for me. But until I watch the episode, I don't know what that is. Like, I know what I think that is, but until I see it, I don't know.
Yeah.
The second I was done watching the episode, I jumped onto YouTube, I opened up that video, didn't watch it. In fact, after I got out of it, I went and cleared it from my watch history so it didn't register that I touched it at all. But I wrote a big comment underneath it being like, you motherfuckers. Yeah. Like, you know better than to do what you just did. It would be like, the day after Empire Strikes Back comes out, and you put a thumbnail on your YouTube video saying, "Oh my God, Darth Vader is Luke's father?" You motherfuckers.
Yeah.
There's a reason why the word spoilers exists. Anyway, so I went into the show feeling a little angry and off. But
yeah, because you knew kind of what... Okay,
But because I was like, that can't be true. That can't be what I think I'm seeing here. So let's just watch it and see what happened. So like Pitney said, when we watched the first one, when we watched part one, I remember when we were talking about how weird it was. I remember telling you that, like, everything about that episode felt like a part one. Like, even though knowing it's a part one is one thing, but it's such a part one that nothing could possibly make sense, because everything will be explained in part two. But that means when you haven't seen part two yet, you're just pissed off because, like, you're throwing all this plot things in front of me and I don't know what the hell I'm looking at any of it. And so it's like, I kept thinking, okay, well, when I see part two, it'll make sense.
Yeah.
Somehow it makes even less sense.
Oh, no, because it was so convoluted and so fucking weird.
You have no idea.
I don't even know. Yeah.
So not only was it just a shitty episode, but it also, like, undid almost everything about this past season, which you only saw one or two episodes of. The season with Belinda. Like, all the things that I liked about Ncuti's second season, they all kind of go, they're just fucking gone. And it's all, like, in this gaslighting kind of way. And they think they're being all clever because there's, these two episodes, there's, like, this thing with, there's, like, real reality, and then there's this different reality. And some people know they're in it, and some people can kind of see around the edges, and there were aspects to that were really interesting, and it's like, that could have been really cool, but what they ended up doing was, like, making something so convoluted And I know that, big Doctor Who fans, you're either going to totally agree with me or you're going to be horrified at what I'm going to say. But because Russell T. Davies has been in charge of these last couple years, and he even wrote this. He wrote this story. It's like he was channeling Stephen Moffat, because Stephen Moffat can do good, like, he can write a really good, simple, like, beautiful but simple story and a really compelling thing. But if you give him too much room to move around in, he is infuriating in his, I'm so much smarter than you, and I'm going to put all these details in here, and you're never going to understand any of it. And it's not because I'm a bad writer. It's because you're too dumb. That's the way I feel every time during those years of Stephen Moffat. And that's why, even though I've loved this show since the early fucking 80s, and I was, even with, Peter Capaldi, one of my favorite actors in the world, when he got chosen to be the Doctor, I was like, oh, hooray, fuck. This is going to happen while Stephen Moffat is running the show. And I could hardly watch my favorite actor.
Yeah, which I have never seen any of those episodes.
And I can't, there's only, a chunk of his time as the Doctor where I could recommend you seeing them. But, they're not worth it. Because it's so awful. But, okay,
I'm an old Doctor Who fan.
Yeah, we both are.
I am only barely on board with this new reboot nonsense.
Yeah.
I love David Tennant.
Yeah.
I love Ncuti.
Mm-hmm.
But in between that, I didn't give a shit. I've not seen any of it, and I won't.
And my husband and I love Jodie Whittaker, even though she wasn't given good enough material. But she was great. And
I watched one, I can't remember what it is, but I watched one story of hers at Sarah's house.
Yeah.
And I did quite enjoy it.
I mean, she's great. In fact, Filionel doesn't really agree when I say this, but he, in the past, when I would be watching Doctor Who, he may or may not be in the room. He may be in the room, but not paying attention. He was never really watching the show. But when Jodie took over as the Doctor, he was sitting next to me on the couch every single episode. And during that period, he started, without me even being involved, watching old Pertwee episodes. He started watching Doctor Who, I totally believe, because of Jodie Whittaker.
That's cool.
He won't admit it. He's like, no, it's not really. That's an exaggeration. That's not really true. It's like, dude.
And,
I know what I see.
It does not get better than John Pertwee.
I mean, yeah.
Everybody's favorite is Tom Baker.
And Tom Baker was excellent.
And Tom Baker was fabulous. He was my doctor that got me into the fandom.
Yeah.
But John Pertwee is and will always be my favorite.
He was just so wonderful. And it's all the unit stories and all that stuff is fabulous.
Yeah. And it's weird. Have you noticed, I'm just interested on your perspective of this. I have gone to old Tom Baker episodes that I really loved, that I wanted to rewatch.
Like the Androids of Tara?
Yeah, that, or the Robots of Death, or the Invisible Enemy, or, know, any of my favorites.
Pirate Planet.
But I have found, in retrospect, what I thought was charming and amusing and likable about Tom Baker's Doctor. In later life, I have found it callous and annoying and crude and unlikable. And I'm wondering if you have found that too.
No, but I think the Doctor, I think some of that might be exposure to more doctors kind of gives your brain more leeway of, the Doctor doesn't have to be this crotchety or whatever. Like he was always smiling and he was always offering people a jelly baby or whatever, but he was kind of the pompous know-it-all, but the Doctor's always kind of that. He's always degrees of that. He's degrees of crotchetiness. The Doctor is generally not super nice all the time, which is one of the reasons why Ncuti Gatwa's time has been so refreshing. But because he was born out of the Doctor being so fucking exhausted and so beaten down.
Exactly.
And so he came out of David Tennant, basically, and let David Tennant go relax. And he gave him, that's my favorite thing, is he gave David Tennant a hug, and it's like no one ever hugged him before, you know?
Yeah.
It's like nobody considers how hard it is to be the Doctor, but the Doctor gets it. So having more than one Doctor there made it, possible to have a conversation like that. But back to this story, because this is, a lot of this factors in for old school fans like us. Because, we had the Ronnie back, and the Ronnie was talking about, bringing, it's so hard for me to say Omega, even though I would say
it's Omega. It's Omega.
Right.
God damn it. It's
and
Omega.
I swear, I think that they changed it to Omega because, I don't think Disney made them, but I think because it's ever so slightly Americanized now because it's on Disney.
Yeah.
That it's very weird for me to hear British people say Omega.
But I'm sorry, it's Omega. It is, that character is Omega.
His name, that character's name is Omega, and it always was Omega. And this is like the third time Omega's been on the show, and now they're pronouncing his name wrong.
Yeah.
But, you know.
Fuck them.
But but that isn't even upsetting compared to the rest of it. So, all that big woohoo about, oh my God, the Ronnie's back. Oh, this'll be fun. This'll be fabulous. Oh my God, the Ronnie. Well, almost immediately, I mean, I shouldn't say immediately, but she wasn't in the episode a lot. She got eaten. She was literally picked up by a hand and a mouth opened and plop, and she's gone.
Oh, well, that's
what was the fucking point of regenerating the Ronnie by generating, so that we could eat the new one, not even eating the old one, but eating the new one. So we brought in this new actress, and she gets all these special credits.
Okay, so the new one is gone, but the old one survived.
The little old lady who's been around for years because she lived next door to, what's her name? Ruby. Yeah, she's still there. Who knows? But, okay, so, and all the stuff about, I'm gonna say Omega, fuck it. All the stuff about Omega. And we were like, well, when they show Omega, he better look cool like he used to. He better have his big fucking helmet mask thing.
Yes, I remember the helmet. Yes.
You know, Omega was a cool baddie. He was the kind of baddie that, because he was basically a being of antimatter, because of how he had been banished, like, he couldn't come here because antimatter can't just show up. I mean, that was the whole reason why, if Omega ever found a way to get here, we were in big trouble. So, like, he could easily unmake this whole universe by existing. So, Omega's cool, and I was like, oh God, where are we going with this?
Yeah, I know. Me too. I was excited, but oh no.
So, did Did he have on a big helmet mask thing? No.
Oh.
What he looked like, you know that part in Poltergeist where the big closet where all the, where like the portal is?
Yeah.
When like a big nasty skull looking thing comes out of the closet and is like, rah. Okay. So Omega's a big nasty skeleton now with somehow bird talon looking hands. But even fucking worse, he never gets more than halfway out of the portal they created, which he barely came into this world.
Yeah.
And he ate the fucking Ronnie. Like, she's like talking to him like, we're gonna do this and you're gonna do, and he picks her up like King Kong picks up Fay Ray. And then he just goes bloop and down the gullet she goes. And then the doctor, who of course has no weapon, because the doctor is not a weapon guy, remember since you only saw a couple from this season, he had this sort of triangular thing with little antennas on the top, and whenever they'd go somewhere, like when they were at the Interstellar Song Contest, he puts the thing down, he hits a button, lights flash, and it gets like a reading of wherever they are, because he's trying to triangulate things so that he can take Belinda home, because the TARDIS won't take him to the date and time he needs to be there, and he can't figure out why, so that whole season he's running around triangulating, trying to figure shit out.
Yeah.
Well, that thing, which has never been a weapon, it's a scientific device to gather information, had gotten stuck on the wall, like on the big clock thing, which was where the Ronnie was. He took that down, and somehow magically it became a big gun that was like shooting lasers or fire or I don't know fucking what. He killed Omega with this weapon that was never a weapon until he suddenly needed a weapon. So that's literally all there is to say about the Ronnie and Omega.
Okay, so
because
Omega's dead and the Ronnie was eaten, but she still exists as the previous incarnation is there. But it's hard to say if she's like the full-on Ronnie in the way that when the Doctor split. I mean, they're kind of both the Doctor, really,
but one of them,
I'm still not.
It's a weird idea. The whole bi-generation thing.
I'm just flat out not on board with that, but that's okay.
But it doesn't really matter because we're not going over to Donna's house and hanging out with David Tennant.
Yeah, but I love Ncuti, and I love that the Doctor has a gay love.
Yes. Oh, that comes up too. Now,
love it. Love it.
Was there a moment, help me remember, was there a moment in part 1 where the Doctor saw Rogue for just a second?
Yeah, because he was on a video for a hot minute.
Because Rogue is the one who said tables don't do that.
And I think the Doctor, if I'm not misremembering, I think the Doctor flat out said I loved him.
Well, Rogue said I love you, but he got cut off right at the end.
Okay, so it was Rogue that said I loved you. Okay, yes. Okay.
But this is important. Don't you think that, oh my god, Rogue seems to be in the weird dimension where Omega is.
Yeah.
Omega, with quotes. And doesn't that seem like we're gonna see that Rogue's gonna somehow be involved in this? Because why show him if he's not? Yeah, Rogue isn't back. Rogue, fuck Rogue. Rogue's still off wherever the hell he is.
Oh,
no idea.
I hope he comes back, and I want them to have a big, fabulous gay love affair.
Well,
And
Hang
fuck
on, you
off
have
to
no
all the
idea.
incels.
There's so many reasons why what you want can never happen. Because, let me keep going. So, and this is going to be a big, long thing because the main problem with this story is it never could decide what the fuck it was about. And there was too much shit. So, it's like they could never spend enough time with anything to actually explain anything. It was just, hey, look over there. That's weird. Hey, look at that thing. That's weird. Hey, look over here. How come that lady knows this? What's that? I mean, that was, basically 2 episodes filled with that. Okay, remember the kid? Remember Poppy? When the Doctor and Belinda woke up in bed together and they were living that weird alternate reality life where they had a kid?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, yeah.
That little baby.
Previous episode or yeah.
Yes,
I remember.
So Poppy, who I'll just say, none of this is that kid's fault because she's so goddamn cute. I could just eat her fucking up. She was such a beautiful little kid. So Poppy was in Space Babies, which was like the first non-Christmas special. Real episode.
Yeah.
Or no, actually because the first one was the Goblin one and that was Christmas. Am I right? Anyway, I don't know. That was 2 years ago. So, Poppy was in Space Baby. She was Captain Poppy. And then, in the episode that Pitney hasn't watched, that took place in Lagos, Nigeria, which was such a good episode, but we didn't have time. When Belinda's running around trying to find the Doctor because she was trapped in the TARDIS for a while, there's this moment where she glances off to the side and she sees this kid. There's no one else on the street, but that kid is there.
Yeah.
And we know it's fucking Poppy. We know it's Captain Poppy from Space Babies, but Belinda doesn't know that because she wasn't in that season.
Yeah.
But she just sees this cute kid and she wonders who that kid is. We never discussed again. But now she's here and she's there in the Wish reality. She's their kid. And I'm going to attempt to explain all this shit, but it's almost impossible. And I'm going to try to make it make sense, but it won't because it doesn't. So, they're at Unit, they made, because we had the fake reality and we were going to try to destroy the fake reality by bringing the real reality back.
Yeah.
Forcing the real reality to replace the fake one. And because they didn't know if Poppy was gonna disappear when they did that. Because Belinda was like, but she's my daughter and I love her and, so the Doctor, because he was like, well, Time Lords are sterile, apparently, so they couldn't have made a baby anyway, but he's like, if this is my opportunity to have a child, I would like the child to survive this. So they had this box constructed, like a special, temporal containment field. So Belinda and Poppy go in the box, and it's closed up, and it's locked, and they basically just wait until the doors open. So while all this shifting reality shit's going on, Poppy is basically Schrodinger's brat in the box. Is Poppy in the box or is she not in the box? What's happening in the box? We don't know. Then, so keep in mind, in the alternate reality, Belinda has been insisting, no, that is really my kid. Even though she, in the alternate reality, when someone brings up, oh, I remember the day she was born. And Belinda's like, I don't remember that.
Yeah.
So it's like doubting the reality is what causes, mugs to fall on the floor and break or whatever. So, when they go back and after they fix or they think they've fixed everything, we open the box. Belinda and Poppy are both in there. Great. So then it's like, oh, terrific. Oh, it's all over. Everything's great. Let's go in the TARDIS. And Ruby is there, and Ruby keeps going, isn't that the kid from the space station? Isn't this the kid? Didn't we meet that kid before?
Okay.
And they're like, I don't know what you're talking about. And the Doctor keeps saying, Ruby, you're obviously misremembering. That can't be true. there keeps being all these fucking gaslighty kind of conversations, and it's like, so they go in the TARDIS, they're talking about, oh, it's going to be so great, we're going to take Poppy places, blah, 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 and then all of a sudden, Ruby looks like they're not looking at the baby. She looks back to where the baby was, and the baby's gone. And Ruby's like, where's Poppy? And they're like, 2 seconds ago, they were talking about Poppy and the life they're going to have with her. And she says, where's Poppy? And they're like, who's Poppy?
Oh, okay.
And the doctor is being fucking rude. Like, Ruby cannot convince them that there's a little girl that they did all of this shit to try to save, and now they're not even acknowledging that she exists. And then towards the end, Ruby convinces the doctor, the doctor has often been the guy who will risk it all to save one person.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, totally.
The doctor will risk himself, risk the TARDIS, risk whatever, to bring one person back who disappeared. And it's been, it's such an integral part of the character. And that was kind of cool. See, that's some deep understanding of what this show is and what this character is. So he gets this idea, I'll just say, of putting his fists together like Wonder Twin powers activate and getting a bunch of regeneration energy floating around his hands, and then he throws it into the TARDIS console to fuck with the time vortex or whatever, and he ends up in Belinda's backyard, goes into the house, and it's Belinda and Poppy is sitting there on the floor playing, and suddenly we're hearing that, but doctor, I told you to bring me back at 7:30 a.m. on May 24th or whatever the fuck day it was, and you know that the whole time it was because I had to get back for Poppy. And he's like, what? And they start showing clips from all of her episodes that they have reshot to have her saying, my child is waiting for me. I have to go pick up my child.
Oh, interesting.
And I'm going, wait a minute. She never said anything like this before.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, so now you're gaslighting the fucking audience. So not only are characters gaslighting each other, but now you're gaslighting me, and I don't fucking like it. Because truly, if that had been really smartly, cleverly written all along, she could have said things in the past that we didn't pick up on.
Yeah.
And now they make sense. That would have been cool. But no. The reality of all of us watching this entire season of a TV show is now, well, fuck you then, because we decided that Belinda has a kid. And isn't this charming, because look how cute the baby is. And I'm not even saying everything that happened, because it's way more convoluted than that.
Yeah.
But basically it comes down to fuck everything else, because hey, look, Poppy. And it's so, that storyline is so complicated on its own that why the hell was Omega and the Ronnie and all this other shit happening when apparently it doesn't matter, because all that matters is this kid. And it's like,
I don't know. Yeah, I don't need to see it.
You don't even know what I'm gonna say next. So, I will say one other thing. Remember how the doctor kept seeing Susan? Remember, he kept having this flash of Susan
which I thought
in the
was
TARDIS?
stupid. I thought that was stupid. Yeah,
but it wouldn't have been stupid if it became something. If Susan was somehow a part of all of this.
Yeah, I thought it was stupid.
There's no Susan. Susan had nothing to... So we get to see Rogue for a second. He has nothing to do with it. He does not appear, well, except in a weird thing. But he has nothing to do with it. Susan, nothing to do with it. But because the Doctor pulled up regeneration energy on his own, like at will, he's regenerating now.
Wow. The year of personal power.
Attention, bitches and witches.
Please take your places in the circle.
Gather son and gather daughter.
Gather earth, air, fire, water.
Raise up energy en masse so we can kick some MAGA ass.
Welcome, one and all, to this meeting of our Coven. Second meeting in this season of Fire. How is everyone doing in the embrace of passion with balance? I am personally on vacation after a period of protesting, and am finding a great period of my passion for silly and geeky fun after a long focus on politics and activism. And what a breath of fresh air. I hope you are all doing the same. Passion in anything is a strong thing, whether fun or practical, hopefully a mix of both, and it often leads to a little personal fear. Is it okay to do this? Can I do this? What will they think if I do this? In that vein, our affirmation for this time around is, the world says I can't, I say fucking watch me. Repeat aloud. The world says I can't, I say fucking watch me. And once again for good measure. The world says I can't, I say fucking watch me. Do you and your passion, and blessed be.
Get inspired! Hey, speaking of the world says I can't, does it? Is the world stopping you? Or is it stopping any of us? I mean, there are certain realities that make things pretty close to impossible, but have you ever noticed that other people seem to manage? Let me give you an example of what I mean. I used to know a guy who was seemingly working his ass off to get a second degree. But not just any second degree, he wanted to be admitted back into the university he originally graduated from in his 20s, but this time into one of their prestigious engineering schools. It took a lot of work, years spent taking classes at community college, everything he could do to make himself a student that they wanted. And he did it. He got in, and he excelled, and then with one semester to go, he quit. Said he had to drop out because he made too much money at his job to qualify for financial aid for that last semester, so that was it. According to him, the guy who wanted that engineering degree more than just about anything, there was nothing he could do. I mean, this is a guy who was raised kind of poor, so he was obsessed with never being poor again, so he socked away a lot of money from every paycheck he got. Dude had money and a good paying job, but he gave up completely on his dream because he couldn't get someone else to pay for it. Do you ever notice how often you hear about a black woman working 2 jobs and going to school at night and raising a couple kids, and she got her degree? I mean, she did what she had to do. It wasn't easy, but nobody was going to take that away from her. So it's possible to do hard things. We know that. We see it. But that dude, his so-called dream, must not have been everything to him. If it was truly important, it would be like oxygen. We don't make excuses about oxygen. We just go where the air is and we breathe. So when you're feeling blocked, think of that guy shrugging and walking away from the number one goal of his adult life because of an excuse that made no sense to you. He thought the world told him he couldn't get that degree. But who really stopped him? So yeah, whatever it is that gets you excited, that makes you look forward to the future, you're going to do it. And we will all fucking watch you. Take action. Do you feel it? Do you feel the tide turning? The girls are fighting, y'all. Be sure you pay attention to the hair pulling and dick measuring just enough to entertain yourself, because we still have work to do. So while they think we're all turning into Muscovites because we're paying any attention to him at all, it's a great time to do some strategic maneuvering. Look around at the folks you know, who were all enthused last year with their Biden crime family shit and lies about Kamala Harris. See if they've gone quiet, or if they're complaining about the big stupid bill or whatever. Like, we know they're still awful people, but we can use them on whatever issues they're pissed about. The Trump lickers in Congress had no problem cutting Medicaid funding, and there's already talk of cutting Medicare, which is gonna upset every mama and papa out there. Maybe that's got 'em steamed. Or maybe it's because they still can't make ends meet, while Republicans' only gripe with the budget bill is that it doesn't take enough money from them to pay for that billionaire tax cut. Or maybe the Epstein thing is getting their attention. Or they bought a Tesla because dear leader told them to, and now they're hearing they won't get a tax break for buying it. Whatever it is, make some notes for yourself. Whose mind seems to be changing, and how you plan to dangle articles and videos and memes in front of them to pull them along. And if you happen to be listening to this on the day it drops, don't forget that tomorrow is June 14th, and there's tons of subversive things you're gonna do to show Trump he ain't shit. Touch grass. It's Pride Month, so let's go looking for a rainbow. Not just that perfect rare moment on a rainy day when the sun is at exactly the right angle and there's just enough moisture in the air, but a rainbow of plants, flowers, and maybe also foliage. If you live in an area with lots of wildflowers, landscaping, beautiful front yards, and common areas, that might do the trick. Otherwise, you may check out the nearest botanical garden. In a pinch, a large garden center or nursery will do. It's not likely that it would be appropriate to pick all the colorful flowers you find, so taking a photo may have to do. Gather glorious reds, fiery oranges, sunny yellows, the whole spectrum. Think there's no such thing as a green flower? You'd be surprised. Hydrangeas, zinnias, certain types of milkweed and coneflower. And leaves aren't just green. Sure, a lot of leaves change color in the fall, but there are so many plants with orange, pink, and purple leaves all year round. And don't forget, white and black are colors too. As you stroll and snap, think about how much variety you've noticed and how diverse nature is. How it all works together to keep the life of the planet going. There's beauty and functionality, and those are often interrelated. When you get home, you could do some online research on the new plants you've discovered out there. See which are native to your area, and you may even plan to include some in your garden or on your windowsill next spring. All just from taking a nice walk.
Reflections and journaling. So this time around, I would like you all to focus on the tarot card of the Fool for your journaling exercise. This is the very first card of the tarot deck. Therefore, it is always an indicator of a new beginning. Perhaps a kindling of an old interest reimagination, or the bringing out of a dream long ignored with a new sense of possibility and optimism. The image of this card is always a figure on the edge of a cliff, or at the start of a long road, or preparing to take a long dive into unknown waters. But there is never fear in this card. It is indicative of excitement, faith, and enthusiasm. A classic image of the card is a figure holding a pole with a bag over his or her shoulder, showing a confidence that there is enough to sustain and get the Fool through the upcoming journey, and a belief that what is needed later will come to sustain the adventure on the road. It is youth, it is exuberance, and it is the never foolish knowledge that it is always useful and nurturing to take on new things, new vistas, and new points of view. Taken in the context of this season of fire, how are your passions motivating you to step up to the cliff and take the dive into uncharted ways of thought, action, or being? Take some time to write and ponder the things that are making you tick right now. Indulge in enthusiastic fantasy about what you think could be, or what you want to be. What do you feel is holding you back? I purposely use the word feel in this rather than think, because this is a card of feeling, not thought. Go with the feeling of how you want to be and feel before you take the plunge and see where it leads you. Do not focus on a specific destination, but on the journey itself towards becoming what you envision. You may be pleasantly surprised. Let's all write about the way we want to be and feel and take the dive. The journey will show how it all looks when you are at the end. Take a leap of faith and enjoy the journey.
He's regenerating now. He's fucking regenerating.
Oh, so are we going to have another new one?
It's worse. It's worse. I mean, there was this, they made some moments be very sweet, and I was crying, and it was wonderful, but then he's doing this thing that in the old days they would have never done, but now in the new days, we love to just be out in space and open the doors of the TARDIS and just stand there as if that makes any fucking sense. But he's like regenerating and foom and all the yellow lights going everywhere, and all of a sudden, it's Billie Piper. It's Rose.
Wow.
Fucking Rose's face, and she looks right into the camera and goes like, hello! And that's the end of the episode. And everyone in the world, like, simultaneously went, what the fuck was that?
Wow.
What the fuck? Why? And we have no idea. We have no idea why it's her. If she's even, like, is she the doctor who looks like Rose now? Is she somehow Rose coming back because there was that whole weird bad wolf thing back in those days? I mean, you know, there was a lot of shit that happened like 20-something years ago, and everything about it. But the thing that I said was spoiled, that thumbnail, it was Ncuti with, like, yellow shit, and fucking Billie Piper. Piper, her big stupid smiley face looking right into the camera, right next to it, and I'm like, why would Billie Piper be in your thumbnail? You literally showed us the last shot of the episode, the last shot of the season. That's like the definition of a fucking spoiler. So they didn't, I mean, we knew that Ncuti wasn't going to be in the role forever, but it had not been announced that he was leaving. None of it. And
I was hoping he'd have another season, but whatever.
Yes, so was like everyone in the world.
Yeah.
Because he's the best thing that happened to that show in a really long time. And I hope people can feel how furious I am. Because, god damn it, what are you doing to my show? Don't be like Stephen Moffating this shit up and just throwing, could we just throw some familiar shit in front of us and think we'll just eat that shit up? It's like, no, it has to be for a reason. Don't bring Carol Ann Ford back for, a total of 5 seconds of screen time over 2 episodes.
That's so stupid. Anyway.
And then not even have her be there. I'm so fucking mad. I love Ncuti so much. And I think some of it might be because we didn't know him well, but people who watched, that Heartstopper show or whatever he was on Sex Education. It was Joe Locke, the cutie from Agatha that was in Heartstopper. But, he was well known to young people, let's just say. Because they're watching, little queer teenager shows that we don't watch. But, I mean, to most people who didn't watch that other show, it's like, oh, he was one of the Kens in the Barbie movie. But this, made him an even bigger, well-known person. And, he's probably getting offered everything. But when you're playing the Doctor, you can't just take off.
Yeah.
So maybe he's leaving. And it also, there's a lot of stuff because the episode was so shitty. There was a lot of things about it that looked like they went back for reshoots. Like, why does Ruby's hair look longer for some reason? Slightly longer for some reason. But things that looked like they reshot it to make the Doctor have to regenerate. Little pieces that could be reshot so that he could film that.
Oh, I don't want him to leave, but we'll see.
Apparently he already has, and I'm so pissed about it.
Yeah, and
I'm someone, when the longer you've been a Doctor Who fan, the more you understand that the current Doctor leaving via regeneration is always a bittersweet thing because you don't want them to go, but the next you will like the next Doctor. You just have to get to know them.
Oh yeah, exactly. And it's fucked up, but
it's like, you can't make me understand or like what you just fucking did. It's like, have it be a face I've never fucking seen before and make me go, ooh, cool, who's this? Don't make it. I mean, Billie Piper's fine. She's also way older than she was in 2009 or whatever.
And I loved Rose Tyler, but that was a long goddamn time ago.
I mean, back in the day, they would have never made Liz Sladen the Doctor.
I know.
Make it Leela.
Let's see what happens.
As long as we're being ridiculous and just putting a random former companion in there, make Caroline Ford the Doctor.
Let's see what happens.
At least I'd be like, ooh. I'd be like, ooh, Susan. God damn it. God damn it.
Damn it.
We can't have nice things. What the fuck? Thanks for listening. If you enjoy our show, please take a moment to rate and review us wherever you listen.
If you send us a screenshot of your review, we'll send you a Bitchin' Boutique sticker.
Everyone loves stickers! Please subscribe or add us to your favorites wherever you get your podcasts.
Subscribe subscribers get new episodes first and are also more attractive.
Drop us a line anytime at PitneyAndAmelia@gmail.com.
We'd love to hear from you. But I'm sorry, it's Omega. That character is Omega. God damn it. Fuck them.